Good morning and welcome to Live in a Greenhouse on YouTube. If you're new here, this channel is about my journey to design, build, and then live in the first greenhouse enclosed tiny home in the United States. Being the last weekend of the month, today is the January walk around. I had hoped that the stonemason was going to be here in January, but he got delayed on his other job and so is now scheduled to be here the first week of February. Which meant I got a slight reprieve in having to finish up some projects inside the greenhouse and was able to focus my efforts outside the greenhouse. This month, it rained more days than it didn't, but mostly light to moderate force. But even when it wasn't raining, there wasn't enough sun to raise the temperature inside the greenhouse much above the outside temperature, which has been from the mid-50s down to freezing. The biggest change this month was after finally almost 3 months of waiting, John, the backhoe driver, was here doing projects at the drain field, the side yard, and along the west ramp and outside the tool shed. These are already making a huge difference in the way the property looks and works. So if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe so YouTube will show it to more viewers, and come along today to see the progress on repairing and transforming the landscape. The pile of rocks that used to be here has been moved and that area flattened, making it easier to reach to prune back the blackberries coming through this hedge. This is now the permanent barrier between the driveway and septic drain field, so I finally removed that green pipe that has been marking this spot. The backhoe also moved enough dirt to this area that I started preparing the wildlife meadow to cover the drain field. I expect this will be a multi-year project. Year 1 is to pull thorny weeds, move some of the tufts of grass from the center to fill in the area near the log for the deer to bed down in. Plant flowers along the rock border and spread a wildlife and native grasses seed mix to start filling in between the daisies. Kitty is a great hunter inside the greenhouse. This is her first experience with deer. No fear. I've also spread flower seeds between the bulbs. Some of the bulbs and columbine are breaking the surface. The lilac, butterfly bush, and flowering cherry are all doing well so far. The deer don't eat them. The cages are to prevent the deer from breaking them until they're more established. Backhoe also extended this retaining wall to stabilize the edge of the ramp and provide space for more flowers. I'll be bringing in a couple yards of soil, so I'll top off this bed and spread some seed here. This bush was doing well in its pot until the drain holes got plugged and it drowned. I'll give it a chance to recover being planted in the ground. A small pile of rocks left over for me to move. I expect this area to repair itself without much intervention, but I may spread some seed to help it along. It's been too cold and not enough time to work on projects at the trailer. Unfortunately, we forgot to have the backhoe lift the water heater from this pile into my truck to make the dump run, so that'll need to wait until I have a helper to lift that. Here's the biggest change over January. The backhoe moved this huge stump that was here and spread out the pile of rocks to be able to pick stones from here, build this retaining wall. He regraded the ramp for an easier slope to bring the cart up and down. I'm so happy to have that project done. I've been moving the remaining rocks to extend the stairs and stabilize this bank. The sound of full. I asked John to separate this pile of debris so it'll be easier to feed into the chipper, and he could get to some of the large rocks that were under the pile. This will be the new area for the compost bins later this year. It only took 3 tries, but this turn allows the stairs a nice gentle rise and run and keeps a 4-foot wide level area along the greenhouse west end. Not much happened inside this month. It's still a mess until the pavers are laid next week. This is a Sam Houston peach that was selected for its low chill hour requirement. It has produced peaches 2 out of 2 years so far. Temperature has dropped to freezing at night inside the greenhouse this past week, so we're on track for peaches again this year. I'd filled the pool to about 3 feet deep and found another leak, so it's drained again until it's warm enough to apply that patch. Not much happening in the food garden as I'm busy with other things. Last year I focused on observing the light levels throughout the day and across the months. I'm letting what's here continue to do its thing and observing the conditions while forming this year's plan. In particular, this bed received more sun than expected, so it'll be planted very differently this year. The olive looks happy. But the calamondin does not. I'm not sure what the problem is, but we'll need to give it some attention this month. Still a few things to move before the stonemason arrives. Cut back these beds, but need to remove the border boards to prepare for the stonemason. cut back the coneflowers, but otherwise not much happening in this area while I draft the plan for this year. And there you have it, a lot of progress outside to repair the landscape and advance toward attracting birds, pollinators, and other wildlife. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And come back next time for this year's food garden plan.